Doctor, thank you so much for giving me an appointment. Everyone is telling me that I need a psychiatrist, and I am starting to believe them. Well, tell me, what is going on in your life? Well, I married a beautiful woman, but soon came to discover that she was pregnant, and I knew I wasn't the father. And when I questioned her, her explanation was that God caused her pregnancy, not another man. Then, as if that weren't enough, my son acts as though he is God. Sir, I can tell you are very distraught, and justifiably so. I would offer my diagnosis. Your family is clearly dysfunctional, and you are an enabler, thus part of the problem. Your wife has psychosis. She is out of touch with reality. But the most worrisome is your son. He could be a split personality, vacillating between self-delusional images of being both God and man. But doctor, what can I do? I recommend that your wife gets psychotherapy and you commit your son to a hospital. As for you, it may take years of therapy and medication. Today we celebrate the feast of the Holy Family. The imaginary story just told could be an example of what a current psychiatrist may have said to St. Joseph in therapy. Yet the family turned out okay. More than okay. One was declared a saint, the others born without sin, and the youngest truly God. This was indeed a holy family. Since we are all made in God's image and contain His imprint of divinity through the Holy Spirit dwelling within us, certainly we too have the potential of having holy families. Yet our families, like the Holy Family, can appear to be messy places. What could possibly make our families holy? Hollywood would have us believe perfect families have white teeth and firm abs, but real families have foibles, rough edges, and secrets. We probably experience family get-togethers during the Christmas holidays. Inevitably, good traits and ugly warts were visible. Though there was love, after a while we may have gotten on each other's nerves. We may have discussed the warts with our spouse or just within our own minds. Such conversations may have gone something like this. Aunt Wilma sure smells bad. She could certainly do something about that. Uncle Joe is clearly an alcoholic. Surely he could control himself. Nephew Jack's perverse behavior is not good. Certainly he can change. And then there's Gail, always angry at something. Why doesn't she just get a life? I don't know why they all don't just get therapy. But of course, we are okay and don't have those problems. Throughout these diatribes, even though they may be just mental, we can severely judge and hurt people. We can be playing God. We may even toss the sin word around. But our Catholic faith teaches that to have full culpability in God's eyes, three things are required. The act or omission must be wrong, the person must have full knowledge, and the person must have full freedom. And since only God can judge the last two, only God can say someone is morally culpable. So, though we are required to make a moral judgment about an act and omission, we can never say someone is culpable in the eyes of God. We cannot climb inside their brain. Sadly, most Christian denominations don't make that distinction. That is what Pope Francis was referring to when his words, "Who am I to judge?" were taken out of context by the press. So how should we deal with the colorful characters in our families? In this year of mercy, Pope Francis' words give advice when he said in a homily, we, on the one hand, want to listen to Jesus, but on the other hand, at times like to find a stick to beat others with, to condemn others. And Jesus has this message for us. Mercy, that is the Lord's most powerful message. Mercy. So let's re-examine the Holy Family and its message of mercy. After the diagnosis, what would we do? Seek counseling or medication or both? Get a divorce? Truly worry about our son? Many people are faced with these hard choices and should not be judged even if they must choose tough love solutions. But what did Joseph do? He didn't judge but was merciful. He just loved and obeyed God and loved his wife and accepted her unconditionally. What did Mary do? She didn't judge. She just loved and obeyed God and accepted his will unconditionally. What did Jesus do? He didn't rebel against his parents. He just loved his Father and accepted his will unconditionally. These people were not dysfunctional sheep, but lovers at heart. They were allowing the divine healer to move their hearts to love. Even modern medicine has concluded, through scientific double-blind testing, that those with faith in God have a higher cure rate even from psychiatric problems. Today's readings talk about unconditional love. The first reading is about children loving their parents even though a parent's mind may be failing. In Sirach's time, people could not have understood Alzheimer's disorder and couldn't climb inside a person's brain, but they were being instructed to love anyway. The second reading says, "The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we shall be has not yet been revealed. When it is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is." So when we see a person's immoral behavior, we really don't know that person because we don't know God. That person is God's child. What he will be has not yet been revealed. And when it is revealed, we may be surprised to find that we are much like that person, for we shall see him as he truly is. And that reading goes on to explain how we too can be holy like the Holy Family when it says, "Love one another, and if you do, you will remain in him, and he in you. And the way we know that he remains in us is from the Spirit he gave us." So we have the divine psychiatrist within us, and we can reap the full potential of the indwelling divine psychiatrist by simply loving one another. This is what science is only now starting to discover, but what Jesus already knew and demonstrated to us. This concept of loving our family goes beyond our immediate family. There is also our extended family, church family, business family, school family, and human family. Our modern culture, as in biblical times, had a broad range of meanings for the word family. But we can too often think about the big picture family, like the effects of terrorism, and forget our immediate family. Often we seek perfection in our immediate family, but we are only mirrors or reflections of God's love. We are not God, and reflections are imperfect. When Jesus taught us the Our Father, he used the Aramaic word Abba, which is more accurately translated daddy, not father. He meant us to pray to our daddy, to show the familial intimacy of his unconditional love. Blessed Mother Teresa, predicted to soon be declared a saint, had a beautiful way of grounding us in love. She said on several occasions, "Peace and war begin at home. If we truly want peace in the world, let us begin by loving one another in our own families. If we want to spread joy, we need for every family to have joy." Love is a verb, not just a noun. It is a journey, not just a destination.